Welcome everyone to our fourth episode of Crafting at Home for Teens. I'm Miss Amanda from the York County Library and I will be guiding you through this craft. The series is mainly going to be focused around easy to make crafts that can be made with basic household items. So for example, markers, paper, glue, scissors, things like that. For our fourth episode, we are going to be making a magical staff that transforms into a fan, and it's all going to be made out of paper. So it's pretty neat, and it only takes a few items to make. So for this craft, you're going to need a ruler, a pencil, a piece of thick string or yarn would work, ribbon as well. I'm using this kind of thicker string. You're going to need a little bit of tape, a pair of scissors, a glue stick, and you're going to need 4 pieces of 8.5 by 11 inch paper, which is also known as printer paper. You're going to need 2 pieces of that same paper but in a different color, and then you're going to need 1 single sheet in a different color from that. So I've got 1 sheet of red, I've got 2 sheets of black. They've already been pre-cut just to help move things along, and I've got my one that is for 4. So for my 4 sheets, I'm doing the color white. For my 2 sheets, I'm doing the color black. And for my 1 sheet, I'm doing the color red. Of course, if you don't have any colored paper or you just want to use plain paper for all, that is perfectly fine as well. You can use a marker afterwards and color it if you want, or just leave it all plain if you like that. So for step 1, we're going to be getting our paper set up. So for our 4 pieces of 8.5 by 11 inch paper, we're going to be using one color for that, and so my color for this example is going to be the color white, and we're going to be cutting it into these little rectangles that are going to be 14 centimeters by 20 centimeters. So you'll want to cut out all 4 of your pieces. And this is where your ruler and pencil will come in real handy, especially if you have a ruler that has the centimeter side, like this one. But so basically what you'll do is you'll just trace out and cut all of those. So you should end up with like a little rectangle, just kind of like this. And then for your other set of paper, so our 2 pieces of paper, for this example I'm using the color black, you're going to want to cut these 2 out, and it's going to be 15 centimeters by 20 centimeters. So it's going to be just 1 centimeter bigger than our white paper. Just a little bit. And so I'm going to set these ones to the side. I've already pre-cut out just so it makes it a little bit quicker for this video. But of course, take your time with it. Try and get it as straight as you can. If it's a little bit crooked, that is perfectly fine. It won't affect it too much. So for step 2, this is where we're going to start getting into our setting up. We're going to take our pieces of white paper, which is our 4 pieces. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler, we're going to line it up, and we're just going to mark it every centimeter as we go down the line here. So centimeter, a centimeter, centimeter, centimeter. And we're just going to mark along here, and we're going to make lines across. So let me finish almost there, there, and there. And it's all right if your last one's a little bit crooked. That's perfectly fine as well. So these are going to be our folding mark lines because we are going to be folding these up. So let me take this, and I'm just going to line it up as straight as I can and make lines across. And so you'll do this for all 4 pieces of your paper that you have. For this example, I've already pre-done my other ones. But you'll go through and you'll repeat this process that I'm doing with this one sheet with all of your sheets until you have all of your pieces ready to go. Okay, so there. Like I said before, it's okay if it's a little bit crooked. You just want to get it as straight as you can. But if your lines are a little messy, that's all right as well. There, there, and one more. Okay. There is our last line. So now I have it all lined up like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially fold it back and forth using these kind of guiding points until I get something that looks kind of like this. So we're going to get kind of, it looks kind of like an accordion kind of feel. And you're going to want to do this with all 4 of them. So I've got my 3 other ones that I've pre-done. And I'm going to fold this one now. Set my ruler and my pencil aside. I'm just going to go here. And then just kind of keep going back and forth. As you're going through, it might get a little bit messy. It might not fold perfectly on either side. That is okay as well, just as long as you get it kind of close. I had a couple of mine had a little bit, if you look on it from the front, like the edges here were a little bit longer than my starting one, but that's okay. You can still work with that. So I'm folding it back and forth. There and there. I'm just gonna give it a good squeeze so it's got that nice accordion shape. So once that is done, for step 3, we're going to glue our ends of our folded pieces to each other. And this is gonna start creating our fan piece for our staff. So I'm just gonna take my glue stick, I'm just gonna run. You can try and lay it down flat if you like that, and kind of do that. And I'm just gonna take my other piece, and I'm gonna take that one piece and kind of line it up with the other. Kind of hold and press it down pretty good. And this is gonna turn it into like one big kind of accordion piece. So I'll take my glue stick again. Just kind of smear my glue on. I'll take my other piece, kind of try and line it up the best you can, and then give it a good squeeze so those pieces stick together. All right. Now for my last one. There. Alrighty. Big squeeze, big squeeze. So now you should kind of have like this really big, wide accordion piece. Kind of hold it, squeeze it back together. Okay. So for step 4, what we're gonna do is we're going to take our bottom part of it and we're gonna pinch this piece real tight together. And then we're gonna take a piece of our tape, and I'm just gonna hold this bottom, and then I'm gonna line up my tape with the bottom here and just kind of tape around it. So kind of press as best as I can to kind of. If you think you need more tape to just secure it real nicely, you can take another piece once you've done your initial. Just kind of squeeze it in nice and tight. And so now you should kind of have something that looks kind of like a little fan. All right, let me set my tape aside. So for step 5, we're going to put this to the side. Well, actually, I forgot about our string. Can't forget our string. So what we're gonna do with our string is we're gonna put it right along the edge here. And so for our string, we're going to cut out, so whatever you're using, if it's string, if it's yarn, if it's ribbon, we're gonna wanna cut it out so it is 17 centimeters. So 17 centimeters. So like I said, whether if you're using like, using string, I would recommend like a thicker string, like an embroidery kind of string, or like I have this like thicker, it's almost twine but not quite twine. Also if you had ribbon or some kind of yarn, that would work really well. But we're gonna kind of try to glue that down. I would also say if you have that tape, still grabbing a piece of tape and just securing it on the end is really helpful to keep it attached as well. If you don't have tape and you needed to use something else, though, you can take a piece of paper, and if you glue it down and place it on top, it will also seal that string in. But for this example, I'm just going to use a piece of tape. I'm just doing a piece of tape and letting this part dangle down. And then you'll want to do it a little bit in, probably, let's see how many I did here. Yeah, around 4 centimeters along the top here, just to give it a little bit of secureness, but still leaving you plenty of string to work with. Okay. All right. And this edge is a little bit shorter, so I'm gonna have to kind of adjust my tape. There. And there. Okay, perfect. So now I have my strings attached to my fan. Now we can really move on to step 5. So step 5 is going to be, we're going to take our single piece of paper. And for this, I'm using the color red as my example piece. And what we're gonna do is we're going to take our end of our fan and we're gonna lay it right against the corner here. And then I'm just gonna take it, get the edge here, just gonna take this corner and we're just gonna kind of roll it around till it's to the flat edge on this side. And I'm just gonna make a little mark kind of right here. As you can see, right there, just a little mark, just to let me know how far I need to roll it. So what I'm gonna do from here is I'm just gonna get my thing back here. I'm going to tape this edge. If you don't have tape, like I said, you can definitely glue it as well, but for this example, I'm using tape. So I'm going to tape that edge to just kind of help me. And then I'm gonna kind of roll this around and we're gonna make it into a giant tube. Now I have my big tube. And so for this part, I actually am going to end up using glue. And I'm just gonna glue right along this inner base here and then fold it over to my tube. So roll and fold. And this is gonna secure this. If you want it to be extra secure and you're worried about it accidentally popping off, you can reinforce it with some tape. So I'm gonna take a piece of tape here and just kind of reinforce just to make sure that it doesn't come apart on me. And I'm just doing either end. Not really too worried about the middle, but just my ends more importantly. So now I should have my fan piece, and this is gonna be the base of our staff. So for step 6, what we're gonna do is we're going to take our pieces of paper, the two that we had set up, so that 15 centimeter by 20 centimeter, which for this example I'm using the color black. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one of it and we're going to wrap it around our fan as it's sticking out and this tube. So we're going to wrap this around it. So I'm going to make sure that it's kind of towards the top. So I want it so just a little bit is exposed at the top, and it kind of wraps around this base. And so I'm going to do this kind of loosely, and I'm only going to glue this very end piece because I want to make sure that this piece is still able to move. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of roll around this other piece, and then I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to secure this end. And of course you can use some tape if you want to make sure that this doesn't pop loose. So just a little bit of tape. And a little bit of tape. I'm going to rotate this just a little bit so my tape sides are not where my string is going to go, because we are going to be securing our string here as well. And so what we're going to do for our string is we're just going to guide it along the edge here. So I'm just going to put a good layer of glue on there, and I'm just going to kind of rest my string over it. And maybe run a little bit of glue on top of it as well to kind of help smear and secure it down. And I'll rotate that, and I'm going to do that on the other side as well. Smear that pretty good. Hold and lay this down, and then run the glue over it as well. Okay. So I've got those glued down. And this is going to be my top part of the staff. So this is going to be the part that we can use to transform it into something else. So what I'm going to do from here now is, now that I have that done, we're going to take our other piece of paper that we have, because remember, we did have two pieces of paper. And we're going to take this piece and we're going to line it up with our string. There. And I am going to roll this around where my string is. I'm just going to take it and I'm going to kind of help guide it. And then, like I did before, I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on this end here and roll it up onto it. And then of course I'll take a little bit of tape to reinforce, just to make sure that it doesn't pop apart. Of course, if you want to wait a little while and make sure that your glue is securely dry and just do it that way, that works as well. So from here, we're gluing that down, and that is all complete. We are pretty much done. For the last step, it's gonna be letting it dry for a couple minutes. Since I did the tape, I don't necessarily have to let it dry, but if you're doing it all with just the glue stick, I would definitely recommend giving it a couple minutes just so it gets securely sealed. But this is the last part, and so what we're gonna do is we're going to test our fan part. So in theory, when we pull this down, it should transform into a fan. Isn't that so cool? And then when I slide it back up, it turns back into our staff. Isn't that awesome? And so from here, what you can do is you can definitely add on decorations. So if you wanted to do like some magical wings, or you wanted to put butterflies or stars or sparkles or put gemstones, maybe you want to put stripes or something on it, you can definitely decorate and add. I would recommend, if you're doing the lower part of the staff here, keep in mind that when you pull it down, this does slide to this lower part of your staff. So mine goes all the way to practically here. So I could decorate this end part here, but the rest of this will get covered up when I use my fan. So I would definitely say if you want to decorate, you want to decorate this top part here and maybe the end bottom if you see how far it goes. But yeah, with that, your magical staff that transforms into a fan made completely out of paper and a little bit of string is complete. So overall, it's a pretty easy craft to make, and it shouldn't take more than 30 to 45 minutes depending on how long it takes you to fold and glue and cut out everything. And of course, if you wanted to add in decorations and different details to make it really unique in your own staff, that might take a little bit longer, but it's pretty easy to make overall. So I hope you enjoyed this craft and you will try it out for yourself. Of course, thank you for joining, and we hope that you'll join us again next month for our next exciting craft. In the meantime, be sure to check out the other cool videos on the York County Library's YouTube page, as well as see what's going on with our programs on the website, which is yclibrary.org. We hope to see you next month, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.